Hey everybody, I'm going to be eating a donut and drinking some coffee while I'm doing this, and I do apologize for doing it in front of you guys, but I got to wake up. um, I got to talk about the 300 million, I'm sorry, not billion, $300 million cut at a special needs funds. Um, Schools have already had very little because of the high inflation and stuff. From as far back as 2019, the rate to keep the funding for the bill, the rate to keep the funding for special needs children throughout the entire state of Texas has been the same, $2 billion. Okay, $2 billion for the entire state. There's a $300 million cut that's going on throughout the state also, which is really, really a bad thing to do right now. And I'll tell you why. But first, let me tell you the conditions. Okay. Schools have been relying on this state-funded budget because it just helps out the schools a whole lot more in keeping the kids educated while providing the proper medical care and medical education for the special needs kids. Okay. It just helps out immensely for every school that has to budget all this crap. But now we're coming to a $300 million reduction. Okay, now I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but everybody knows that if the schools are already relying on the state to pitch in and help out for every school out there, it means money is tight as it is. And this deduction of our state taxes that's supposed to go to them, now reduced by 300 million, it's not a good thing at all. Okay? And there's that sun again creeping up on me, so I'm going to move the vehicle. Sorry about that. I just needed to move the vehicle a little bit. And now that you see what's going on, here we are with my worthless Texas governor. I know I keep calling him that, but he keeps doing this kind of stupid stuff. This worthless governor of ours says he'll consider relooking at the budgeting and all this good stuff if the state votes to pass his school voucher program, which is just downright idiotic. And the main reason for that is because it's such an out in the open, fraudulent policy. Vouchers are going to be passed out to people throughout the state, but we all already know it's not going to be passed out to for every student across the state. Which just means that it's sides with it promotes prejudice and discrimination. That's all that it aids. It's aiding and abetting to discrimination legally by way of policy. So it's wrong. We all can see that. Nobody's supporting the governor for that except for his people. Okay? His administration, people that can actually afford schooling, but will take vouchers anyway to have it paid for them, as opposed to the needy and the people that are on a budget, which is almost everybody else, every normal citizen, every regular citizen, in particularly those of us who are struggling paycheck to paycheck. It is such an obvious hustle. It is such an obvious tax all the state of Texas while panning out portions of money and they keep the rest. It is that obvious. And now here he is and his administration. It's not just our governor. It's everybody that's working with him in his administration that are all on the same side trying to make it policy to hustle $300 million out of the state's budget for education, in particularly for those with special needs. And it's wrong, and it needs to be stopped. Our governor and the administration needs to be removed, arrested, and tried and sentenced for these attempted acts of fraudulent and hustles in the name of legal tender, in the name of policies, trying to legalize political corruption. That's the more appropriate term to use. And I'm sorry, but it sounds stupid, and it sounds very, I don't know, Harrison Ford-ish, conspiracy theory-ish. But technically, outside of cinema, in reality, it's actually happening. These guys, my worthless governor and his administration is attempting every year to try to do something to keep us down by inflating everything, charging us for it, and always scraping off a little bit more for himself, giving us less and keeping a lot more for himself. I'm sorry. This is America. That's what a Russian oligarch does. And this guy is trying to do that. He should move to Russia if he wants to live this way. Good for him. But he's in Texas right now, the greatest state of the entire United States of America, and he's mucking it up. He's being this worthless douchebag of a greedy, corrupt politician, and nobody's stopping him. I don't know how the hell he's winning the elections. There are some people that are saying it's gerrymandering, and I'm sure that's partly of what it's got to do. But that's not, if it was something that simple, that easily identifiable, I think he would have been kicked out of office a long time ago. And it could be that all of Texas is stupid because we keep falling for it. And that's also another possibility. I mean, it's not defining me because I can see through this bullshit. This bullcrap. But honestly, there's another one that says that it's the migrants that come over here, not from Mexico, but from the other states of the United States of America. They're used to paying top dollar for everything to where it's just overwhelmingly crazy. They come down here where everything's cheap by comparison. So they're now the ones with all the money, so to say. And they have this greed kind of look, everything for us against them kind of mentality. And they're actually choosing stuff. They're supporting the governor with vouchers. They're supporting the governor with bills to put locks on doors because they honestly think it's the best way to go and all this other crap. And they're choosing low taxes and making sure that everything's deregulated, especially when they open up businesses and all this good stuff. Which I think is just dumb. Everything needs to be regulated. Okay? If not, there's a loophole that affects everybody else and other people and all this good stuff. Technically, it affects everybody in some way or another. It's just kind of stupid that, I personally think that it's all of the above. And it's just stupid to think that the only way to solve a problem is by hurting other people for the greater good. That's just dumb. Okay? Something that saves the economy by reducing the budget to something else is just dumb. Okay? Now, if you're going to go that way, then we should go for defunding the police policy, which, for the record, it's not stripping cops of their money or pay. It's just stopping the pointless spending of riot gear and anti-terrorist weapons that just have been doing nothing but collect dust in our storages. This city has Humvee RVs. This entire state has water cannons and all this other shit. We haven't used any of it. Tear gas, gas masks, high-powered rifles. We haven't used any of it. There's no law enforcement. There's no act of law enforcement that is required for that. Since 2001, since 9/11. Once that took place, every state jumped on board. And I'll be honest, I thought it was a good idea at the time. 20 plus years has passed already, and not one single act of terrorism that has required any of that stuff. And defunding the police bill removes that crap. It removes our tax-paying dollars being put to waste. Okay? That's what it actually is. It had nothing to do with taking away people's pensions and paychecks and all this crap. That's a bunch of bullshit. Nobody's thought of that. And if they have, it's more than likely done by my worthless governor. The proof is in acts of bills and acts of legislation that that want to budget cut everything. And this isn't the first time that he's done that. I've talked about this before, especially in the name of Operation Lone Star. Here he's doing it in the name of education vouchers, which again is nothing but a horrible hustle. Okay? It's nothing but a fraud. It's nothing but a hustle. It's a fraud. But he's done this crap before in the name of Operation Lone Star. He's removed one of the reasons why our state prisons and penitentiaries are getting such a bad rap now for inhumane, making dangerous criminals more insanely dangerous, is because of all the budget cuts that he's done to our federal, state, and prisons. There are inmates that are going a lot more crazy and therefore a lot more damn dangerous because of the cuts, the suffering of the heat and the weather. When we went through the high heat waves and the insane survivals of trying to stay warm when temperatures dropped, like in 2021, there were prisoners that died in prison. They froze to death. Not all of them were lifers to top it all off. Some were coming out after a while after doing their time. But budget cuts partook into that. Okay? Budget cuts in health and human health and human services, I think it's called, HHS, which is for families in need. Budget cuts to child welfare and family protective services. He's taken money out of that organization, at that agency also. Okay? He's taken money also out of the juvenile system, the juvenile delinquent system. Okay, so you've got teenagers or even preteens that have committed some kind of crimes, thinking that they're cool selling dope in school or something like that. Okay, you got kids that have tried to that have done some crimes. That go into a place where they're treated a little bit more like a caged animal, as opposed to continuously education just through stricter rules, less freedom of moving around as opposed to the way you would be in a regular school. Okay. And in some form or another, it's supposed to also teach you some form of self-discipline, but all of that got thrown right out the window, especially in the form of budget cuts, where money has been taken out to where very little staff is managing them. And again, they're all sort of being treated like a little bit more like caged animals. Okay? It's a huge, that's just 4 examples of what my governor is responsible for. Okay? And now we've got this thing where he's doing 300 million deductions statewide for special needs kids in our education system. Okay? And the only thing that's going to make that not happen, according to him, is if we accept his school voucher policies, which again is a fraud. It's a hustle. It's a ripoff. It's stealing from us. It's a fraud. It's not a policy that's worth a damn. But there he is holding this form of education in limbo to get what he wants. And that's wrong. Like I said, this is America. If he wants to be an oligarch, let him go to Russia. Let him go to Russia. The guy with the gold makes the rules and all that crap. Let him go to Russia with that crap. That's not what's working. That's not how it works here in America. It's not how it's supposed to work here in Texas. And I know there's a lot of people that say, oh, that's nothing to say. That America has always been like this. America's this and America's that. You know what? It's not supposed to be like that. Ergo, it's not supposed to be like that anymore. Ergo, I'm not accepting it. We don't have to accept that. If you want to accept it, fine. Go to a country. You also go to a country that wants to accept that. You know, it's not to be accepted in this day and age. It's not to be accepted in second millennia America. Plain and simple. So, I know I'm doing a lot more babbling, and I'm doing it all based off of memory, and I'm still going and I do apologize for that. But there I go again. I had to vent that out. I had to let it go. I promise I will be bringing more reported reports, ventilations and stuff, more in the lines of reporting. After, properly researched and all that good stuff that I can, like the way I used to back when I started as an Uber driver. When I started this back when I was just an Uber driver, I kind of gotten used to doing this in the vehicle thing, making this my studio, and I've liked it where I could actually park somewhere and you can see the traffic in the background. That way you don't have to constantly look at my ugly mug, That way there's, something nice to see in the background and stuff. Right now you're being blinded by everything's being blotted out by the sun right now. So, all right, I'm going to close it off at the 20-minute mark here, or just before 20 minutes. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. Happy Thursday. We'll see you all on next time. And take care of yourself. If you have a voice to concern, a subject that you need to voice out, by all means, put it in the comment section. If I go through it and I find out that it's an actual an actual statement, I'll post it on here, or I'll try to see if I can open up a different podcast where we can put you on the phone and you can voice your concerns on my show. I know BeanPod or Podbean is one of them that lets you do that, so I'll probably try going that route. But here's the thing, a few people that are commenting, unfortunately, you're just repeating rhetoric and sometimes it doesn't even have anything to do with the subject at hand. For a while I've been talking about the problems with immigration, that's especially here in Texas, and there we go. And for some reason, you guys are talking about books, and trainees. That's got nothing to do with immigration, okay? Or you're talking about communist Biden or crooked Hillary. It was always Hillary. I can't let that go. I can't let that go. I'm sorry. It's just, I mean, you want to talk about stupidity. Alrighty, I'm coming up to 20. Y'all take care. Y'all take it easy. Have a good one. This is Chris. Chris's Comments, signing out.